Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my beautiful wife, Karina from Venezuela. And we went through the K1 visa process just like you guys. And here's Karina. She made it to America. It took us, 22 months from NOA 1 to visa in hand at the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia. And I do these live streams for you guys to help you get through this K1 visa process with as minimal stress as possible and with as minimal cost. Okay, I've been through this visa process twice. I got 9 years of experience. I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't work for USCIS. I don't work for the State Department. I don't work for the, I do this for free from my experience only. And if you have any questions on how to process a K1 visa or process a green card, if you're trying to learn how to do a spousal visa, even a tourist visa, I can help you get through this horrible process. Harold A., how long does it take to get a police clearance in Colombia? It took Karina about, 2 minutes on her laptop to get a, but remember now, Karina's Venezuelan, okay? So she had to get a police clearance certificate from Colombia, plus an Interpol police certificate, plus a police clearance certificate from Venezuela. But if you are a Colombian national, you live in Colombia, born and raised in Colombia, you haven't lived anywhere else but Colombia, you can get your police certificate in about a minute to 2 minutes on your computer with your Colombian scheduler number. So you log on the computer, okay, you go into the police department, you go into the Colombian police department, and then you ask for a police certificate and you punch in the scheduler number, you scribble it in there, and then you hit send, and then about 20 seconds later pops up your police certificate, and it's green, I believe it's green, verde, it's green, and then you print it. So you want to be near a printer when you look for your Colombian police certificate. It takes about a minute, 2 minutes to get it. But if you are a foreign national living in Colombia and you've lived in Colombia for longer than 6 months, you're probably going to have to get an Interpol police certificate. And that can take 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So be prepared for that, okay? So Harold A., I hope that answered your question. And it's not hard to get a Colombian police certificate. Tashius Lynn's World. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Ross. What's going on, Tashius Lynn's World? And Harold said, thank you. No problem. A Colombian police certificate is not difficult to get. You just got to have your beneficiary. She must have or he must have his scheduler number that he can put or she can type into the computer, in the laptop or in the desktop or whatever. I don't recommend trying to do it on a cell phone. What do you think? Like my hat? Karina bought me this hat in Cartagena, okay? Cartagena, Colombia on the West Coast. Harold A., wow, that is faster than in the United States. Yeah, the United States. If you need let's suppose you want to go live in Colombia. You're an American citizen and you want to go live in Colombia. In order to get a visa to live in Colombia as a permanent resident, you got to get a FBI police certificate. You got to get a medical exam from a doctor that says you don't have PTSD or any other major malfunctions, which is not, I say malfunction. It's not a good thing to have PTSD, obviously, but immigration want to see that you don't have it in Colombia. And then you can start the process. You got to make, if you're going to be on a retirement visa in Colombia, you got to make above the minimum income for Colombia. So it's not hard to get a Colombian visa to live there. David B. Hola, Diego and Karina. Buenos dias. Buenos dias, David. Can't thank you enough for all that you do for us. Hey, I'm glad to be here. Karina and I went for our morning walk. We didn't go as far as we wanted to go because Karina wanted to keep walking. But I'm like, no, I want to go back home. I'm going to do a live stream for you guys. And Karina's like, okay. No, she's kidding. So we're doing the live stream. It's a surprise video, okay? Normally, I do the live stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 6 p.m. Central Time. But today, I just said, let's do a live stream for everybody because I'm sure there's folks out there with questions that that we didn't answer yesterday. So it's no problem for me to do a live stream. We'll do for an hour. We'll jump on here for an hour. And if I've had to make it for subscribers only, guys, for the questions, anybody can watch the channel. Anybody can watch it and listen and learn from the channel. but you know, because of the so many people watch this channel now, only subscribers can ask me questions. I don't ever ask you to subscribe to the channel. You don't have to subscribe. I don't ask you to do that. It's not required, okay? But if you want to ask me questions, I ask that you be a subscriber, so it keeps the number, it helps me to respond to the questions more quicker for you guys. And you know, that's the reason. That's all. So we hope you're doing well. Today is nice. It's what day? It's Thursday, February the 15th, 2024. It's 59 degrees outside, and hopefully it'll warm up here in the Panhandle of Florida. And don't forget, wherever you are in the country, in the United States, or wherever you live in the world, let me know where you are. If you have a question for me, you know, you want to know how long does it take to process a K-1 visa, or what's the embassy time frame for Colombia? How long does it take to get a visa in Uganda or Nigeria or wherever? Just tell me what country you guys are in, so that way I have a better idea on how to answer your question. If you ask me a question that says, you know, I got my NOA-2 letter, how long is it going to take me to get my visa in my passport? Well, if I don't know what country you guys are in, it's going to be hard for me to answer the question, because I have a good idea about which countries are fast, which countries are slow. Senegal and Ghana right now are not processing visas as fast as we would like them to. I don't know why that is, okay? But it is. It is what it is. It's a slow process. So we just muddle through it. And, you know, I'm trying to help you get through this process without having to pay an immigration attorney. I'm not an immigration attorney, okay? But I can write the book on K-1 visas. I've been through this thing twice. I know how I've been through the headaches. I've been through the maze. And then I can guide you through the maze also free of charge. So you don't have to pay an immigration attorney. Somebody told me yesterday that that an immigration attorney was going to charge her $450 for a 5-minute conversation. Well, I spoke for an hour and a half yesterday, and I gave you information for free that an immigration attorney would have charged you $10,000 plus. So it's a good place to be if you want to know how to do a K-1 visa. Right here on this channel, it's your channel. What's up with Mexico, says David. Are they one of the countries they set up your interview? Yes, they do. We have to wait for them to reach out to set that up. That's in Mexico at this moment. That's correct. The DS-160 is done. Okay. Can't pay the visa fee until they reach out. That's correct. So what you should do, this is what I tell folks who have beautiful prometidas in Mexico. When you get to this point in the visa process, send an email to the consulate in Ciudad Juarez or Mexico City, the embassy in Mexico City. Send them an email and say, look, I got my ready status. This is my receipt number. This is my case number. This is my beneficiary's full name. This is her date of birth. This is where she lives in Mexico. She lives here in Mexico. Can you please update me on when I can get a visa interview with you guys in Mexico? And if the embassy's not busy, if they got time, most of the time they're busy, but they will respond to you eventually and give you an update on what your status is in Mexico for your K-1 visa. So in Mexico, you can't pay the visa fee until they reach out, because they're the ones that schedule the interview. All right. But that's for now. That could change. That could change. If you're in Colombia, you cannot schedule the visa interview till you get the K3, K4 packet visa email. Okay. And then you can schedule it once you get the packet 3, packet 4 email in Colombia. Then you can go to the links and schedule the visa interview, pay the fee and all that. And DS-160, DS means Department of State. That's what DS means, Department of State. And 160 is for a non-immigrant visa application for K1 or tourist. In your case, it's a K1. Badila Mike, hi, I hope you're doing well. Please, how long does it take to get a welcome letter from where? David B, sending to the embassy, not the NBC, correct? Right. If you know that your case is at the embassy in Mexico, then the NBC are going to be kind of reluctant to help you. They're going to say, well, you know, we already sent your case to the embassy. You're not our problem anymore. That's the way that's their attitude. If you're not at the NBC anymore, if you're at the embassy, they're going to and say they're going to tell you to respond to the embassy because they're real busy people. The MVC, USCIS, and the embassy, they're all busy. How long? So, hope you're doing well. How long does it take to get a welcome letter from the MVC for a K1? 2 to 3 months. Badia Mike, 2 to 3 months. It's getting they're getting a little faster and faster and faster at the MVC. They're much faster than they were a year ago, but it took us 4 months plus a couple of days to get our welcome letter. Tasha's World, Diego, I arrived in the United States on December 15th, 2023, got married on December 31st. How long should I take to send in the adjustment of status packet? The best thing to do is get it done within 90 days. If you arrived in the United States on December 15th of 2023, then you're going to have an I94 90-day window of time, okay, to get married. Well, you got married on December 31st. So December 15th, add 90 days to that, okay? From December 15th, add 90 days to that, and that's when your I-94 expires in your passport. If you look in your passport, it's going to say, you know, paroled into the United States, and there's a stamp, and there's an expiration date on the I-94, okay? It's not an expiration date on the K1 visa. The K1 visa is being used up already. The K1 visa you used to get into America with. Now you're on an I-94. That's good for 90 days. If you can get your adjustment of status done within 90 days, you'll get your green card much quicker. I'm going to file for Karina's green card on February 29th. I'm just waiting for a few more documents to come in the mail to include in her green card package. She's on the bank. So I'm waiting for the bank statement to come in. That's probably today. I'm waiting for her credit card to come in. That's probably today. Okay? And then we'll put all that in her green card application, because the stronger the application is, the more easier it is for the immigration to adjudicate your case and avoid another face-to-face scary visa interview. If you put together a real pitiful little pink, little very small green card application, your marriage license, a couple of pictures, your documents required for adjusting. If you just put together a very small, weak green card application, immigration is going to want to sit down with you face to face and talk to you in person, okay, before they issue the green card. But if you put together a strong green card application where immigration doesn't have to sit down with you face to face, they can see in your green card package that you are in a true, real relationship. You got married, you're living together, your new wife or husband is on the title to your car, they're on the house, they're on the apartment, they're in your bank, they got a joint bank account. They got credit cards. They got a debit card. They're on the bills. They're on the water bill, the electric bill. If you can prove all this, there's a good chance you won't have to do another face-to-face visa interview. And I'm sure you guys would much rather spend 30, 40, 50 days putting together a strong K1 visa package than to go in front of an immigration officer again, because that's not a pleasant experience, is it? It's okay. But it's not okay. You just want to get your green card and get your life started. Well, in order to do that, put together a strong green card application. So get it done, Tasha Sling World, in 90 days. When I filed for Karina's green card on February 29th, we would be within 58 days before arriving in the United States. Well, within 90 days. Justin, can a retired nurse be my joint sponsor? Absolutely. If you have a retired nurse as a joint sponsor, make sure, Justina, that your retired nurse provides with you her last tax return, her last W-2, okay? So she's retired, so she's probably going to get a 1099 if she's getting retirement pay. If she worked for a hospital and they pay her retirement pay, they send her a monthly check every month as a retired nurse. More than likely, that's going to come in on a 1099, okay? If the retired nurse has a second job doing something, plus has got a retirement pay, she's going to get a 1099 and a W-2. So long as her income is way above 125% for the family size, for your green card application, okay, or for your K1 visa application at the embassy, you'll be perfectly fine. But she has to prove her income. Get 12 months worth of bank statements showing her direct deposits. Highlight the deposits on the bank statements. Make the job easy for immigration. So when they look through the bank deposits, it's easy for them to see where the deposits are. And then they can see how much money the person makes every month and get an estimate for a 1 year's worth of income. Okay, so definitely a retired nurse can be a joint sponsor, not a problem. Immigration care about income. That's the main point. David B, and no additional email or mail letter for when we in ready status. I can only see ready status on the website. Okay, if you see ready status, and this is from Mexico, what you need to do is send an email to the embassy and say, hey, I got ready status. What happens next? What happens next is they're going to send you an email saying this is the day for your visa interview in Mexico. All right. But if you send them an email, okay, and check in with them, they will respond back to you and say, oh, okay, yeah, well, we got an appointment scheduled for you on this day. And then they'll send you an email link to pay the visa fee. Okay. And when you fill out the DS-160, print the confirmation page. When you pay the visa fee, print the receipt for the visa fee. And print the welcome letter from the National Visa Center. You know, print all that stuff and get it to your beneficiary. Amazing. Thank you. David B, isn't this a place to hang out? It's Thursday. It's nice and sunny. And you're getting all this information and it didn't cost you a penny. And that's what I like. I like to see that. You know, some folks pay lots of money to immigration attorneys and, you know, they get the same questions and the immigration attorney wants to have $450 for a 5 or 10 minute chat. Let me see. 66. Hello, Diego from Paris. Bonjour. Bonjour. How many tax returns should my joint sponsor provide? 3. Get 3 tax returns and tax transcripts from your joint sponsor. More than likely, the immigration officer is only going to ask for the last year's, 2022, unless your immigration interview, your K-1 visa interview is on April 15th or greater. If your immigration interview is past April 15th of 2024, then they're going to require to see the 2023 tax return. But get 3 years worth, because some embassy officials, you might say, oh, I want to see your 2022 and your 2021 tax return. Or they might say, I want to see your 2022, 2021, and 2020 tax return. You never know what the immigration officer is going to ask for. So your interview is on the 24th of April. So you're going to have your 2023 tax return in the hands of your beneficiary. You got to have your 2023 tax return. You may not be able to get the tax transcript because the IRS don't work that fast, okay, in processing tax transcripts. But you definitely must have the 2023 1040 and your W-2s or 1099s. Interview is on April 15th, 2024. Do I need the 2023 tax return? Austin Smith, yes, you do. That's the cutoff date for your taxes. Let me see here. Don't want to miss anybody's question. So David B, amazing. Thank you. No problem. Tasha Lynn's World. Thank you. No worries. And David B, I love it here. Well, we're glad. We're glad you're having a good time. Let me see right here. See that Venezuelan flag right there? Just Karina's friend in Venezuela gave her the flag, Jasmine. And she keeps asking, where's the flag? I said, start watching the live streams from Venezuela when you have electricity, when you have internet, okay? And when your internet's working, then you can watch the live stream and you'll be able to see the flag. And if your interview is on April 15th, Austin, 2024, you will need your 2023 tax return from your sponsor. So get it, ask him to do it. Tell him to process his tax returns like tomorrow. Even though it's early, he's got to get it done. 1099s and W-2s are usually in the hands by law of the sponsor by January 31 at the latest, okay? That's especially 1099s. I'm not a CPA, but I do my own taxes, okay? And I know that by January 31st of every year, if you are on a 1099, you're self-employed, you must have your 1099 processed by January 31st, okay, at the latest. All right? So if your interview is on April 15th, 2024 or greater, make sure you have your sponsor's 2023 tax return. You got it? Tell me you understand that, guys. 6, how many pictures did you and Karina provide? How many pictures did Karina and I provide for what? For what? For the K1 Visa I-129F, we provided 45 pictures. At the embassy interview, we had like 50 or 60 pictures, but they didn't need to look at them at the embassy because they already knew that Karina was good to go. For the green card application, we're going to submit, I've got about 35 pictures, 35 somewhere in there. Pictures of us when we were in Colombia together in December, November, December. Pictures of our wedding and pictures with family and friends. They all go into the green card application. And on the photos, you must put the name of the names of the people in the picture. So it's Diego, Karina, and then whoever else was in the picture, we put their names in there. The date the picture was taken. Well, we got married on January 14th, 2024. So the date says January 14th, 2024. Where was it at? Well, we got married on the beach. So we put Navarre Beach, Santa Rosa County, Florida, January 14th, 2024. All that information has got to be on the pictures, on the photos. If you don't put them on the photos, especially when you file your K1 visa, let's suppose you haven't filed your K1 visa package yet, and you got 30 or 40 pictures that you're putting into your K1 visa package, okay? If you don't put the date, the names of the people, and where the pictures were taken, you're going to get an RFE. They're going to send the pictures back to you and say, where were these pictures taken? Who's in the pictures? Where were they taken? April flower for 6 for the interview, 35, 40 pictures, but they didn't look at them. But we had them just in case they asked for them. April flower, hi Diego. Every time I try to schedule an interview appointment, it says unavailable. That's because there's no slots open. When I went to schedule Karina's visa interview in Bogota, Colombia in October of 2023, there was one slot open, and that was on November 16th for the interview. And there was one slot open for the biometrics, and that was November 8th. So I said, man, all December was filled up. There was only one date available in November. So I took the date, boom, for the interview, boom, for the biometrics. And then all of November was filled up. I took the last one. Then you couldn't get a visa interview in Bogota until like the beginning of February of 2024, like right now, this month. So you got to keep looking. And when you see a spot open up, April flower, you jump on it and poof, take the date, okay? Jen, hi Diego. Just arrived to the stream. Welcome aboard. My fiance's interview is on the 27th of February. Okay, not much longer. Should I complete my 2023 taxes? No, you don't need them. You don't need them. Is it mandatory or highly recommended? I recommend it, but it's not necessary. You must have your 2022 taxes, your 2021 and your 2020 taxes in your beneficiary's hand for the interview on February 27th. Okay? You don't need your 2023 taxes for the interview on February 27th of 2024. But, some people, they don't pay their taxes until April 15th. Unless if you're getting a tax refund, you're going to try to get your money back from the government as quick as you can, right? So a lot of people file their taxes in January to get their money back from the government. Well, I don't blame them, But for a visa interview, if your visa interview is before April 15th of 2024, you don't need your 2023 tax return. But if you can get it, then bring it. Okay. Let's suppose your income went up in 2023. Let's suppose your 2022 tax return, you made $25,000. On your 2023 tax return, you made $35,000. Well, it would probably be beneficial to you to get your 2023 tax returns done because your income is 10 grand more than it was in 2022. If your income, if it's going to help you, get it done. But if it's not going to help you, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Caleb, her too. What if my fiance doesn't speak English at the visa interview? Is that a problem? What country? Caleb, what country are we talking about? In Colombia, in Dominican Republic, our beautiful friends in the Dominican Republic, shout out to the Dominican Republic. If you can't speak English, it's no big deal. Karina doesn't speak English. She went to her K1 visa interview in Bogota, Colombia, and the American consular officer spoke fluent Spanish and fluent English. In Mexico, no, you don't need to be able to speak English. In Mexico, the consular officer can speak Spanish. So Karina went to her visa interview, the scary visa interview, and she answered her questions in Spanish. And the guy could speak English fluently. That's what Karina told me, right? But yeah, don't worry. Mexico, you don't have to have a translator. So let me see here. 66. Could you show us one day how you assembled your folder for the interview? 66. I made a video on that very thing. I made a video called "How to Assemble Your Documents for the Visa Interview." So if you Google Diego Ross in the channel, somewhere in the channel, if you Google Diego Ross, how to assemble documents, boom, the video is going to pop up. And if you watch that video, it will show you how I put together Karina's package for the embassy interview in Bogota, Colombia. You got 66. There is a video in this channel somewhere that you can watch somewhere that's going to teach you how to put a K1 visa package together, how to file for the green card, how to assemble the documents for the interview, what vaccinations you need, the questions at the embassy interview in Bogota, Colombia, questions at the visa interview in other countries, in the Philippines, in Nepal. I've made a video for just about every contingency that could possibly happen in the K1 green card spousal visa process. And I can even help you with a tourist visa. If you want to learn how to get a B2 tourist visa, I can help you with that. But Jean, I recommend to get the 2023 tax return if you can possibly get it by 27 February for the interview. If not, don't worry about it. It's not going to be the immigration officer is not going to ask you for a 2023 tax return in February. Jean, hola Karina, ¿cómo te va en Estados? We're good here. Is it a lot? So you want tips for your fiance cuando llegue a Estados Unidos?
Conocer su barrio.
Okay, learn the town. Okay, Karina and I, we walk around the town. The question is, what tips do you have for when a person comes to America? Well, let's suppose you're Filipino. You're a beautiful Filipina, and you come here from, Cebu. More than likely there's a Phil-Am club somewhere in your town, in your city. There's a Filipino American club somewhere in your city or town. Go find it and go hang out at the Phil-Am club. And that way you can get to hang out with Filipinos and Americans who went through this process. If you're Latino, go find. It's a little different process. I don't think there's any Mexican or Colombian or Venezuelan groups here, but there are a lot of Colombians. Actually, there are a lot of Venezuelans and Cubans that live in Florida. A lot of Venezuelans and a lot of Cubans live in Florida. And Karina already has a friend from Venezuela, named Brenda. She was our translator at our wedding. Okay, she made friends with Brenda, but she hangs out with me. She's like, I came to America to become an American. Okay, so there's Venezuelans here, great. Okay, but I'm an American. She's going to become an American citizen in 3 years. Yeah, she said, learn the stores, go to find out where the supermarket is. Go find the Central Commercial, the mall. Let me see. Jin, got my 1040s, tax transcripts, and W-2s. Boy, it's a lot of paperwork. Thanks for your tips. Jin, it's a lot of paperwork. If a K1 visa was easy, right, everybody would be doing it. Everybody in the whole world, somebody would be doing this. But it's not easy. It's difficult. You got to qualify. Number one, your beneficiary has to want to be able to leave her family behind. Latina families are strong. Karina's family's tight. Her brothers, her sisters, but they're spread out all over South America because Venezuela is not a good place to live right now because of the economic conditions created by the government. So Karina's family's all over the place. Brazil, Colombia, they were in Chile, okay? So it is what it is, you know. You got to be able to qualify for the benefit as an American citizen. You got to make enough money to support your beneficiary. If you don't make enough money, you got to have a joint sponsor. You can't have a bad criminal record with major felonies. You know, if you in domestic violence, if you got any problems like that, you won't qualify. You got to be a U.S. citizen. You have to meet each other face to face within 2 years. So there's some people, they were chatting in Facebook or Yahoo Messenger or in WhatsApp. They chat for 2 years or a year and a half, and they love each other, but they never met each other. So they file the K-1 visa to the lockbox in Dallas, and their visa gets denied because they haven't met each other face to face. You got to meet each other face to face in person and be together, and then file the K-1 visa with evidence of you meeting each other, boarding passes, plane tickets, hotel receipts, dinner dates, time together. You're in a relationship. When you file your K-1 visa, at a minimum, you should have been together for at least a year, met each other at least twice. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying you don't have, I'm not saying that's the rule, but to get an immigration visa approved first time without any RFEs, meet each other face to face at least twice, be together for at least a year, have a ton of evidence that you've been together twice, you know. I lived with Karina for on back and forth for 2.5 years, back and forth to Colombia, USA, Colombia, USA. Lived with Karina for 5 months, lived with her for 2 months, lived with her for 11 months. And all the evidence was collected in a big binder like this. So the K-1 visa is a difficult thing to get. It's not a freebie, you know, and the US government make it as hard as possible. They make the wait time as long as possible. You know, they put all these roadblocks up in there to make it difficult because they're trying to get rid of the fraud. You know, the immigration fraud is pretty rampant. Let me see here. David B. Inquiry sent to the embassy in Juarez, Mexico. There you go. Good job. When you send an inquiry to the embassy, in any embassy in the world, make sure that you're in the subject line of the email, you put your beneficiary's case number or the receipt number from the NOA2 letter and her name. And in the email, put her name, full name, first name, middle name, last name, date of birth, receipt number, case number, invoice number, passport number. If you put all that stuff in there, then you'll get a reply back from the embassy a lot quicker. Let me see. Ren S. Okay, Ren S. Now, you've been having a little trouble over the last few weeks trying to get stuff done in Ghana, right? So Ren S says, NOA 1, December 31, 2022. RFE, December 24th, 2023. Woo, Christmas Eve. They sent you an RFE on Christmas Eve? Man, they're working overtime at USCIS. Got your RFE approved January 18th, 2024. NVC welcome letter. February 12th, print that welcome letter, Ren S. Print that 3 copies of that welcome letter. Case in transit, February 13th. Case ready in Accra, Ghana. Embassy, February 14th, 2024. I'm very shocked. Well, we're not shocked because it's a process, and it's just a routine process for immigration, and you are right at the finish line. The wait has been long, waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But you got there, right? You did it. Congrats, Ren S. by Jin. Ren S. Accra, Ghana wants us to schedule the medical after the interview is over. Okay. Well, here's what's going to happen, Ren S. You're going to go to the visa interview, and no doubt you're going to pass the visa interview. You get your K-1 visa approved, but you'll go into a 221G administrative hold until they get the medical exam. The U.S. ambassador at the U.S. Embassy in Ghana has set up a process where you go to the visa interview first and get the medical exam after the visa interview. Don't get angry. Don't get stressed out. Don't get frustrated. If you get a 221G letter from the embassy that says we're going to now wait for your medical exam to come to the embassy. So your job is to go to the doctor, the civil surgeon approved by the State Department, and get him or her to get that medical exam to the embassy as quick as possible. Ren S. and the MVC in Accra, Ghana are super fast at replying. There you go. Things are getting faster. Ren S. I was just like all you, everybody in here, waiting for almost 12 months just to get USCIS to touch my case. It took almost 14 months for USCIS to touch our case. Caleb Hertu, can the visa interview for K1 be done at the consulate in Tijuana, Mexico? No, they are being done at Ciudad Juarez and in Mexico City. Tijuana, no. They are not doing K1 visa interviews there as of now. But it could change. And Karina's jumping on here. She's making sure I don't miss anybody's question. Sissy Cote TV. Hi, Diego. My visa was issued today. I came on here yesterday letting you know we were in approval status for 2 weeks. Thankfully, we got issued today. Sierra Leone. Okay, Sissy Cote TV. Now go pick up your passport with your K1 visa, get on a plane, and come to the United States of America and start your lives. Congratulations. Sierra Leone, that's on the west coast of Africa, right? On the west coast. Let me see here. David B, it's more of a form asking all of that information than the free text to ask the question. Hopefully it's enough to just fill out their form asking some of those questions. Thanks. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it, guys. Jim, I agree. MVC does reply quickly. Unfortunately, the consulate in Casablanca, that's in Morocco, is a pain, according to a hacking law firm. They are the third worst location worldwide. I've had to learn to be patient. Well, you know, I'm not an immigration attorney, and if the hacking law firm is tracking embassies and they say that the Casablanca embassy is the third worst location in the world, that's his opinion. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is the third worst. It just means in his opinion it is. Okay? K Messenger, good morning, Karina and Diego. Hope the family is well. We are good. K Messenger, how's everything in Mexico? K Messenger, I did what you recommended. I sent an inquiry to Juarez, and 4 or 5 days later got my appointment. Thank you, Karina. You too, Diego. Well, Karina, thank Karina, okay? She's the one that gave me the idea to do this. Her idea to put the channel together, and we've helped so many people. It's unbelievable how many people we've helped. And I'm glad, because this process is not easy, guys. And K Messenger, you got it done. And you followed the advice of us, of our opinions, and you followed the advice, and it was successful for you. So I got my Cartagena hat on, guys. Karina had to, she was like the bargaining for this. I think the guy wanted $5 for it, and she beat him up down to $3.45. And I just stood there in the street and I'm watching Karina. She's like, no, that's too much. No, demasiado caro. Demasiado caro. Menos. And he's like, come on, give me a break, lady. I'm trying to make a living here. No, menos. $3 and some cents. I like it. Cartagena, beautiful place. If you get a chance to go to Cartagena, Colombia, go there. Now they made a movie, okay, called was it Romancing the Stone? I think it was called Romancing the Stone, and the movie was set in Colombia, but they didn't film the movie Romancing the Stone in Colombia at all. They said they were in Cartagena and this and this. They weren't in Cartagena. They were in Mexico. So if you watch the movie Romancing the Stone with Michael Douglas, and they say they're in Colombia, they're not in Colombia. It's all fake news. They're in Mexico. So you learned that today, right? Now you're going to go watch the movie Romancing the Stone just to see if you can see if I'm right or not. K Messenger, I did what you recommended. There you go. You got your appointment. Jen, my fiance completed his medical exam last Friday, and the doctor said it's all clear for the interview later this month. It's neat to hear the different procedures at each consulate. Thank you, Diego. No problem, Jen. Every embassy in the world is controlled by an ambassador. The ambassador to Mexico, the ambassador to Colombia, the ambassador to Germany, the ambassador to the Philippines, whatever. And the ambassador puts in place a set of rules for his embassy. And the State Department doesn't have a problem with any of the rules so long as they don't violate state, federal law, and as long as they weed out the green card fraud and the visa fraud. So every embassy does their own thing, but the bottom line is the goal is to get your K-1 visa in the passport and get to the United States and get married, right? That's the goal. Hannah, hi Diego, the I-129F petition got approved. So you got the NOA-1 letter, right? But I need to transfer the K-1 interview to another consulate where my fiance lives now. What should I do? You can't do anything now until it goes to the MVC. When your visa goes to the MVC, the National Visa Center in New Hampshire, then you're going to get the welcome letter from the MVC. You then send an inquiry to the MVC and ask them, please, can you change my consulate interview from this country to this country? Okay? When you fill out the I-129F, you got to plan ahead, guys, to make sure your beneficiary is going to be in the country that you've scheduled the interview for, because it gets to be a pain trying to change it. If you are from Iraq or if you are from Syria, our friends in Iraq, our friends in Syria, our friends in Cuba, communist Cuba, not the communists, but the persons who don't want to be communists, obviously. If you are in Venezuela, if you are from Venezuela, your visa interview is going to be in Bogota, Colombia. Because the United States and Venezuela, we don't get along because we don't like the dictatorship of Maduro. So, if you're in Iraq, the embassy is not processing K-1 visas in Baghdad. So you can change it to Abu Dhabi or Ankara, Turkey. But if you just want to change the consulate interview from this country to this country because you couldn't figure out where, because you just want to change countries, you got to be very nice to the National Visa Center when you send them the inquiry. Send them a very nice email with an explanation why you want to change the location from country A to country B. Okay? Because the MVC, those are the folks that schedule the visa interviews for spousal visas, and those are the folks that mail the K-1 visas off to the embassies. All right? So you want to get in touch with the MVC when you get ready, when you get the welcome letter, and ask them to switch locations for you, okay? That's how you do it. Ren S, I filed my 2023 taxes 2 weeks ago. Should I send for my interview? Yeah, if you got the 1040s. My job couldn't give me the employment letter. I've been working there for 3 months, and don't worry about it. But do have all my paychecks from the job and W-2s. That's what you need. If you can't get your boss to write you a letter, okay, don't worry about it. It's nice to have that letter, okay? It's nice to have the letter. It backs up everything. But if you can't get it, you can't get it. David B, great news. K Messenger, when is your interview date? Caleb, I think would be easy to move to Canada. Canada, I don't know. I've never been to Canada. I've got no intention to go to Canada. I don't want to go there on vacation. It's cold, it's rainy, and I don't speak French. So, I don't know. I'd like to take Karina to see the Niagara. What's the man? I can't remember the name of the waterfall. Niagara Falls, is it? I can't remember. No, that's Canada for you. Moving to Canada is probably easy. I don't know. And Ren S, I was finally able to solve my SEAC issue. The U.S. Embassy in Accra, Ghana was super helpful. So you listened to me, right? You contacted the embassy. They sent you back an email on telling you how to fix the problem, and you fixed it. Justina, please, Diego, my fiance is a Nigerian, and she's not aware of any biometric for K1. You get the biometrics done. Justina, does your fiance live in Nigeria? In Lagos, Nigeria, there's an office where you go for biometrics. Okay? You got to pay for the biometrics. Email the embassy in Nigeria, email the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria, and ask them for directions to the biometrics and the procedure. Jirais, good morning, everyone. especially to my veteran Navy brother Diego and his wife Karina, as she is right here. Good morning. I submitted my K1 visa petition in December. My fiance is in Morocco. Thank you for being a great resource. So J Rice, hopefully you filed that K1 visa package with all the information you got from the channel. You didn't pay an immigration attorney $4,000, and you're going to have to spend that money on your wedding in America and on your honeymoon, buy your new wife to be a new dress, stuff like that. Spend it on your family, not on immigration attorneys. H. Karam, hi Diego. If you remember me from last night live stream, I remember you. I had mentioned something about being arrested for something stupid before age 18. The case was dismissed, but didn't mention on the petition form. The arrest was over 25 years ago. Okay? The FBI will know about it. The FBI will know what you did when you were 5 years old, when you stole a comic book from the Kmart. Even though immigration, even though the court said the records were sealed, nobody can see the records, immigration can see the records. The FBI can see the records. What you need to do is, if you didn't mention that in your K1 petition, okay, don't panic. It wasn't anything major, I'm sure. Go to the courthouse and get all the court records on what happened to you. Get all the records. Because if you get an RFE, request for further evidence from immigration, they may send you one because they said, hey, you checked this box that you didn't have a criminal record, but you do. Okay? They're going to want to see the criminal record. And then you write a letter to USCIS if you get an RFE and say, or it could happen at the embassy. Be prepared for the embassy. At the embassy interview, they might say, hey, what about this criminal record on your sponsor? Your beneficiary, they will ask your beneficiary, did you know that your sponsor has a criminal record? You know, it was something stupid when he was a teenager, but do you know about it? You better make sure your beneficiary knows about it. So she can say, yeah, I know about it. It was something stupid. And then they may ask you for the court records. Please get those court records and be ready for an RFE to respond, okay? Even though it was something stupid, even though it was dismissed 25 years ago. Excuse me, get it done. David B., thank you. Good luck. Keep us updated. No problem, David. Renes, I'm not angry, just grateful. This process has been very painful, and not seeing my fiance, especially not seeing my fiance. That's why I was in Colombia. Immigration don't care about the 2-year separation. They say, okay, go live in Philippines with your beneficiary. Wait for the process to get taken care of in the Philippines. Or go live in Australia. Go live in England for 6 months. Immigration don't care about the wait time, guys. They want to make sure that your beneficiary is good to go, that the sponsor is good to go, and that your relationship is real. And if they make you wait 2 years, that's the way it is. 21 and a half months for us. So I went to Colombia and lived in Colombia. My friend took care of my house. It's our house. Nosotros casa en ahora. He took care of the house. You know, I had my light bill paid automatically, my water bill paid automatically. All my bills were paid automatically out of my checking account, except for my gas bill. So I wrote a big check to the gas company and said, hey, I'm going to be in Colombia for 5 months. This is how much I think my gas bill is going to be for the next 5 months. Don't disconnect me. I'm in South America. And I came back after 5 months, and I still had $30 of credit on my gas bill. So when I got my next gas bill, I didn't have to pay anything. Well, I did. I paid it in the past. But you understand what I'm saying. Let me see here. So hang in there, Renes. And the case is ready. The medical part about after the interview isn't the best, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Go get your medical exam. Wait for the medical exam results to get mailed to the embassy. Then go pick up your K1 visa. And then get on a plane and come here. Well, not Florida. I don't know where you're going to live in America, but come to the USA. Niagara Falls. I think that's on the border with Canada and the United States. I think that's what it's called. I should know that. Let me see. Renes, I had an RFE due to my lawyer not ticking a box properly. I don't have a criminal record. Rather, he put NA, which is issued the RFE. So here we go again. with immigration attorneys causing more problems for you guys when all you have to do is fill out the form yourself, follow the directions in the form. Now, I'm quite sure that Ren S would have checked no on the question, do you have a criminal record? You would have put an X in the no. You got a choice of two answers, yes or no, and two little boxes. The answer is, for Ren S, no, not NA. You need to get your money back from your immigration attorney and say, hey, you don't know what the heck you're doing. Ask him for your money back. I want my money back. You caused me a massive delay in my K1 visa application. And you're supposed to trust this person? No, you need to fire that guy. Hang out with us and we'll get you through it for free. Get rid of that attorney. Don't pay him any more money. Tell him goodbye, adios. And send it and write a letter to USCIS and identify the attorney's name and address and phone number and say this person no longer represents you and you take control back of your K1 visa. Your attorney needs to be fired, okay? I'm serious. Let me see here. Ren S, you got the RFE in 29 days. So your immigration attorney added 29 days to your long wait for your K1 visa process, 30 days. He added a month to your process because of his incompetence. You need to get rid of that person, terminate his employment, and notify USCIS that he is no longer your immigration attorney and that otherwise immigration is going to keep sending him correspondence. Get rid of him or her. Ren S, I thank you, Diego, for all your help and those who wish my case well. Yeah, we want to see you succeed, guys. Everybody watching this channel, whether you are subscribed or not, is irrelevant. What's relevant is I want you to get your K1 visa and start your life with your beneficiary and your sponsor. Get your life started. America's a big country. It's a great place to be, you know. But I like Colombia. I got no problem living in Colombia. I just couldn't live in Bogota. If I lived in Colombia, I would live in Cartagena, Santa Marta, Cucuta. That's where I would live. Okay, I got no problem living in Colombia, but we decided to live in the United States because, you know, this is where I work. Let me see here. David B, a food channel. Yeah, I had a YouTube channel on how to cook. Karina loved it. She's watching all the videos on how to cook stuff. I think that's how she kind of met me at the very beginning when we started first dating. She's watching my videos on how to cook, and she goes, "Man, this guy knows how to cook. He's a keeper." Let me see. K Messenger, David B, keep the faith, Diego. Recipe of success works like a charm. It's a different kind of recipe than his food channel, but just as sweet. Have a blessed day. Yeah, I think that the K1 Visa channel that we put together for you guys is much more beneficial, right, than learning how to cook curry chicken. Ren S you got your RFE approved in a month, and she says thank you, Diego, for your help and those who wish my case well. And David B thanking K Messenger. Jin, hi Jairis, be patient. My fiance is also in Morocco. Petition was submitted June 2022. Our interview is this month, February 2024. I've gotten all my tips from Diego. Woohoo! There you go. KJB. Hey, Diego, I finally booked an interview in Sierra Leone. I told you would, right, KJB? But not until 3 months. Be grateful you got an interview. If it's 3 months from now, okay, it's 3 months. It's another 3 months. Get on a plane, fly to Sierra Leone, go hang out with your beneficiary for 2 or 3 weeks, and come back to the States. Or if you spend time together if you can, if your job allows you to do that. It was so hard to get one, and there are no more spots open for now. Well, I hope you took that one, KJB. I hope you took that spot and took it. Hannah, so I have to wait for the welcome letter to transfer the K1 interview to another consulate, right? Yes. The MVC controls it. So how will I receive this welcome letter? By email. Yes. In the email. And how long will it take to get? Well, it depends on when you get, have you got your Anyway 2 letter? From NOA2 to NVC welcome letter is 2 to 3 months. From NOA1 to NOA2 is like 9, 10, 11, 12 months. From NOA2 to NVC welcome letter is 2 to 3 months. 4 months to some people. When you get the NVC welcome letter, you send an email right away, an inquiry, and say, I want to change my location for my visa interview from this country to this country. The NVC control where the visas go. Okay? You got it? USCIS don't control where the visas go. The petitioner controls where the visas go. The petitioner fills out the I-129F. The petitioner says, I want to have my K-1 visa interview in Ankara, Turkey. Okay? And then your beneficiary moves from Turkey to, let's say, Abu Dhabi. Then you have to reschedule the interview to another country, Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. The NVC will be the ones that mail the K-1 visa package either to this country or this country. So when you get the welcome letter from the NVC, you jump on it right away that day and change the location of your visa interview. If the NVC says we can't do that, then they can't do that. All right? But be patient, okay? Just be patient. Hannah, do you understand what you got to do here? Ren asks, can anyone tell me, is it possible in Accra, Ghana, in the U.S. Embassy to schedule interviews easily, or is there a long wait just to find a date? That's a good question. Haven't paid the fees or filed the DS-160, or the site won't let me. That's a good question. Somebody help Ren S on this. Hitchum, Adjarit. I am losing patience. Why? My NOA 1 is February 2023, February 13th, 2023, and still no NOA 2. I will submit a case inquiry. If USCIS says the average processing time is 16 months from NOA 1 to NOA 2, USCIS will not respond to a case inquiry because you're too early. They will send you an email and say you're too early. We're not going to give you an answer. Be patient, Hitchum. I figure you'll probably get your NOA 2 letter this month or early next month. You just got to hang out and be patient. Okay, guys, that was a prize live stream. I've been speaking for an hour. Today's Thursday. I will come back on the live stream again on Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Albuquerque time, 4 p.m. San Diego time, 7 p.m. Miami time. Caleb gets the last word. Can I send more evidence of relationship to USCIS before I get an RFE? No, you can't. When you submit your K-1 visa package to USCIS, it's gone. It's done. Your K-1 visa package gets put in a pigeonhole somewhere. Immigration don't have time to go hunt down your K-1 visa package and put more stuff in there, open it up and look for the section. They don't have time. Before you send your K-1 visa package to the lockbox in Dallas, make sure you have a strong K-1 visa package. If you want to submit more evidence to USCIS, you have to wait either for the RFE or when you go to the embassy interview. All right? And Jen says, thank you. See you next time from Abu Dhabi. See you guys on Saturday. Thanks for hanging out.